There's a type of child you've probably come across at least once in your life, the kid who acts older than they really are. The kid who talks like an adult, who handles problems like they've lived 3 lifetimes already. People praise them for being mature, smart, or responsible, but nobody ever stops to ask the real question, why did this kid have to grow up so fast? Behind that maturity, behind the emotional intelligence, behind that calm, adult-like vibe, there's a story most people never get to see. Some kids don't grow up. They get pushed. They get pushed into responsibilities that were way too heavy for their age. Pushed into emotional roles they never signed up for. Pushed into acting like everything is fine, even when nothing ever felt fine. Kids who grow up too fast don't break loudly. They break quietly. Silently. Inside the parts of themselves they learn to hide. Their childhood doesn't fade away slowly. It ends in a moment where life forces them into a role they weren't ready for. Maybe the home was unstable. Maybe a parent was emotionally unavailable, struggling with mental health, addiction, or chaos. Maybe money was tight. Maybe the adult in the home wasn't really an adult. And suddenly, the kid becomes the caretaker, the therapist, the problem solver, the peacekeeper. They stop being the child and become the glue holding everything else together. Psychologists call this emotional parentification. It happens when the child becomes the emotional adult, listening to their parents' problems, calming the fights, babysitting siblings, managing the mood of the entire house, avoiding chaos like it's a landmine. People look at them and say, wow, so mature, not realizing that what they're praising isn't maturity, it's survival. These kids carry invisible responsibilities. They feel responsible for keeping the peace. They monitor everyone's emotions like human smoke detectors, constantly scanning for danger. They solve problems that aren't theirs. They stay calm because they learned early that their emotions aren't allowed to take up space. They stay strong because someone in the house had to be. They avoid needing anything. They shrink their needs until they don't even feel them anymore. They grow up believing that other people's feelings matter more than their own. They believe they have to take care of everyone. They believe resting is wrong, crying is weak, and asking for help is dangerous. These beliefs don't magically disappear when they become adults, they become the blueprint they live by. A child who grows up too fast becomes an adult who behaves like a parent trapped inside a young person's body. They overthink everything because their childhood trained them to constantly monitor danger. They become hyper-independent, refusing help because needing people once hurt them. They fear conflict because conflict used to mean chaos. They prioritize everyone else because that's what they were conditioned to do. They struggle to rest because relaxing feels like a crime. They hate vulnerability. They hide behind humor, work, or perfection. They look fine on the outside but feel exhausted on the inside. Kids who grew up too soon never got the time to figure out who they are. Their whole identity was shaped around roles they had to play: the helper, the listener, the responsible one, the kid who has it together. But roles aren't personality. When they finally reach adulthood, a strange emptiness hits them. They don't know what they like. They don't know what their dreams are. They don't know who they are when they're not fixing someone else's mess. They feel lost when life finally becomes peaceful, because peace is unfamiliar. These adults carry a silent kind of pain. They don't know how to ask for help, even when they're drowning. They feel guilty when they're happy, like joy is something they didn't earn. They end up in relationships where they do all the emotional labor because it feels normal. They fear being a burden, so they never express their needs. They feel lonely even when surrounded by people, because nobody really sees the child inside them, the child who never got a chance to exist. But here's the twist most people miss: growing up too fast doesn't only create trauma, it creates strengths too. These individuals are deeply empathetic, emotionally intelligent, great listeners, calm in crisis, reliable, thoughtful, and mature beyond their age. Their emotional radar is sharper than most people can imagine. They can read a room instantly. They understand pain in a way that makes them incredibly compassionate. But even strengths need healing. Being strong shouldn't be the only identity they're allowed to have. Healing starts when they finally admit the truth: my childhood wasn't normal, and it affected me. Not in a dramatic way, just in a real way. Not minimizing it with, others had it worse. Not brushing it off with, I turned out fine. Simply acknowledging the impact. Healing means reconnecting with the inner child, the part that needed rest, safety, joy, and emotional space. It means learning to receive help instead of carrying everything alone. It means setting boundaries even when it feels selfish. It means relearning how to feel emotions instead of suppressing them. It means redefining identity from, I take care of everyone, to, I matter too. From, I have to be strong, to, I'm allowed to be human. Healing doesn't erase the past. It rewrites the future. If you grew up too fast, hear this clearly: there was nothing wrong with you. There was something wrong with the situation you were in. You weren't mature for your age, you were coping. You weren't strong, you were surviving. But your story isn't over. You can reclaim the years you lost. You can learn to rest without guilt. You can learn to trust without fear. You can learn to receive love without feeling undeserving. You can build a life that isn't built on survival, but on peace. Your childhood might have ended early. But your adulthood is yours now. And this time, you're allowed to breathe.